I kind of want to talk about social media. I have this listed as the state of social media, kind of like how we used to always go over the state of 4K. But like recently on like Twitter and all over the news, everyone's complaining about Instagram. And I'm fully on board with it. But I mean, like,
I've seen this.
to the point, like, why can't I remember the Kardashian? Kylie Kardashian. Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Okay.
Totally fine.
She's the biggest account on Instagram right now, right? Posted about how Instagram's terrible. And
we looked it up recently. One of the biggest.
I thought
easily one of the biggest.
Okay, yeah. So anyways, Instagram's making a lot of changes recently, and a lot of people, I think every friend group I have, I've heard someone complain about Instagram recently. And I just kind of like, let's take a minute. Let's talk about some of the different social media sites out there. There's a lot of different little tidbits in the news about all of them. Let's kind of rank them a little bit, and let's go over how we use them and what we like and what we don't like about them.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I have an idea. I'm going to do a tier list.
Okay.
I'm going to do like tiers for each of them.
That's a great Clips title.
But each one of them, I'm going to give a tier based on if I am a creator on that platform and if I am a user of the platform.
I like that a lot.
So it might be different for each one. So let's start from, you want to start from Instagram?
Let's start Instagram. It's what everyone's talking about right now.
All right, so everyone's complaining that you're getting all these posts in your feed that are from accounts you don't follow.
Hate it.
There are videos all the time. It's just random stuff. I keep seeing them. I keep hitting the little X. It's so annoying how often they pop up.
Yeah.
But that's the main complaint. Do you remember when you couldn't upload to Instagram at all? You could only use the camera and post what you took in the camera.
I don't remember that.
The beginning of Instagram was you opened Instagram and you hit the camera button and it opened your camera and that's what you had to post. And then maybe you could add a filter after. And then it was a huge deal when you could upload a new picture to Instagram. That was a big step. And then there's another step where you could start adding videos, and we went through the whole IGTV thing. But
that works great.
At its core, Instagram was just pictures.
I like that. I like saying the core, like, what is the core of this? The core of this was you follow people that you're interested in.
Pictures of your friends.
And you want to see what they're up to through pictures.
Sure. Great. Now, we'll get to Facebook later, but I actually could make an argument that that's never what Instagram was about. But that's what we want. That's what we like to feel like Instagram is about. Pictures of your friends, right?
Yes.
So now it's like they're shoving you things in our face. The Explore page is just chaos. It's reels. It's all this stuff I don't care about, but they're just putting it in my home feed. Stop it. I would say, as a user of Instagram, which I am, Instagram is like a B tier right now.
Okay.
At this very moment, if they change nothing, it's like B tier. It's kind of getting annoying, but we still use it. People still post stuff. Photo dumps are a thing. Reels are interesting. As a creator, Instagram is actually A tier.
Okay.
It's A tier, but it's not S tier.
Not S tier.
You already know what's S tier.
Yeah,
it's YouTube and TikTok, but we'll get there.
Yeah. No, not a lot of people agree with us.
Yeah, Instagram is good for posting things and getting them fairly predictably seen. Like if you know you want your video to be seen, you make a 60-second or less vertical version of it and put it in Reels, and it will be seen. That's just the way Instagram works right now. It's also Adam Mosseri, for as much as he gets roasted on Twitter, very transparent and open about what they're doing on Instagram.
I did not I think his last, so he got torn apart on Twitter about a week ago because he had to make a statement about all of this. In fact, I think they rolled a few changes back, or maybe they just rolled back the testing they were doing. It was like a full screen.
Like a small test.
But he mostly said,
now I want to be clear. We're going to continue to support photos. It's part of our heritage. I love photos. I know a lot of you out there love photos too. That said, I need to be honest. I do believe that more and more of Instagram is going to become video over time. We see this even if we change nothing. We see this even if you just look at chronological feed.
They have the data. It's hard to argue that. But a lot of the stuff he made it sound like this is what we're seeing going forward and this is what you want. This is where we have to go. And it all just felt like this is how we're making the most money on it. And I didn't love it a lot just because it felt like I hated that he was giving all these like weird little ways to kind of fix it by like, if you really want to see what your friends are up to, add them to your favorites. It's like, I've got more than 10 friends. I would not like to do it that many times. Or like you can snooze them, but you can only snooze recommendations for 30 days. So every month I have to snooze recommendations again. That's terrible. And we want to promote small creators by putting them in the recommended page so more people can find them. It's like, cool.
Fair.
You have a tab right next to my homepage that does that already. And I actually really enjoy that tab. There's a lot of really great stuff on there, and they do recommend a lot of stuff.
So this is probably where we have to talk about TikTok, because pretty much all of the changes that Instagram has been making are a response to TikTok and or a copy of what TikTok is doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say that, like you, for example, you have the group of people you follow, and if you ever want to explore and see new stuff, I'll go to the explore page. That's fine. Well, guess what TikTok's doing right now? Eating everyone's lunch, and all they show you is stuff you don't follow. The non-default is switching to just who you follow, but it's by default exploring new things by swiping through.
It does put your follows in there. The funny thing is I almost never follow anyone anymore because it's so good at just finding the things that that I enjoyed. And then I feel like I'm following those people already.
So your default in TikTok is just like whatever it's recommending you.
Yes.
And they are killing it as far as engagement, enjoyment, discovery of content. If you're a creator and you upload there, it just gets found by the right people because the algorithms are that good. And so Instagram's seeing this and they're like, if we don't start to recommend things more like TikTok is, TikTok's just going to pass us. They're just going to take all the people that we've been like serving this entire time and they're just going to pass us and beat us. So if we just go, hey, if you want that experience, there's a separate thing over here. They've tried that before. Like IGTV was a thing. It was a separate app that died. Like anytime they tuck something behind literally one button press, they know it gets less use. So they realize that they have to start interrupting the normal Instagram experience to be more of what they want people to do more, which is discover stuff.
Yep.
And so now they're being sort of warped by this space-time tear that is in this TikTok that's just dominating everything.
It'll be interesting to see what happens because they've done this before when Snapchat did stories. Instagram swooped in and got stories. And I've always said that was like the most opportune time ever because Snapchat did a full redesign and added stories. And or they added stories, then did a full redesign. And as that redesign happened and people got mad at it, Instagram picked up stories. And then they were like, oh, well, I'm on Instagram already. I have stories. I'm following the same people in here.
They're probably, you know what they're probably doing? They're probably hoping that this goes the way that went. Like Snapchat was coming up because of this story thing and Facebook/Meta/Instagram went, oh yeah, we could do that too. And then they added it to their app and then people went, oh, well, this is where I follow people already. All my friends are here. So I don't need to use Snapchat stories anymore. And they're probably hoping that people who are using TikTok will just go, oh, well, I could just find all this stuff on this one app I already use and stop using TikTok. Probably not going to go the same way.
I don't think it's going to go the same way. TikTok is just killing it right now. It is just on the up and up. It's got to be the most popular thing. We were saying it's S tier right now. And like as a user, I would agree it's S tier. It's the most fun I have in an app constantly to just like, I use it often because I don't have to sit down and dedicate a ton of time to it. I can sit down and dedicate a ton of time. You can easily dedicate it. Like way too easily. It's what I want. It's turn my brain off and just not have to have an attention span and just go through things. And like you said, it's not people I follow. It's not people I care about keeping in touch with. That's what Instagram is. And I hate that I'm losing that.
Yeah. As a creator, I think you could argue that TikTok is also S tier. But I think the argument against that would be monetization is not as obvious.
Yes,
that's why YouTube
still
is
terrible.
Still apex.
Yes,
and people who blow up. Here's the ultimate. Like people who blow up on TikTok want to become YouTubers, so TikTok can't be S tier. YouTube is the only S tier platform as a creator.
Yeah.
So I guess that means TikTok is A tier for creators.
Can I say to add a third category in here for a second?
Sure.
A small business on TikTok could be
S tier.
Totally S tier. I have watched some videos from like all sorts of different. There was recently this guy who builds these like wood creations of different like sports teams and stuff. And he built one for a streamer, Nick Merckx, and just sent it to him. Nick showed it on screen. And all of a sudden he's like, I'm backed up for like 6 months. And that's just because they found the TikTok video of him sending it to him. Yeah. And like now he's getting invited to baseball games and giving baseball players these wooden like structures or whatever he makes of their jerseys. And like, you just see all these like different businesses and they can create these little communities, and then those communities are posting, and then you see the video only has 1,000 likes, but you can see the sales they're making are like insane. It's fun to watch.
It's also really cringe to watch the businesses that are specifically trying to go viral on TikTok instead of just like interacting organically. And if something picks up and catches, then it just works.
That's what I've seen.
Because I see a lot of them who are like, all right, we are joining TikTok with the explicit intent of going viral. Let's do it.
Yes.
And then everything they post is just trying to like lean in, and it's not a good look.
I agree totally. I actually think it's the non-viral posts that get the best stuff out of it. Because like if you can just get into that like small community, and like TikTok is so good at recommending things. I like got recommended this random like pre-workout guy who like just started a business making this pre-workout, and he just like all he does is he's like, I'm going to tell you everything I'm doing, trying to create this business. And I follow this guy religiously now because it's just fun watching him create new things on it. It's really interesting. I don't know where we left off.
We got Instagram. We've got our tiers for that.
TikTok,
we're pretty set as like S tier as a user, A tier as a creator, obviously on the come up, doing massive numbers. The most viewed thing I've ever watched or created is a TikTok. And I've made $0 from TikTok.
If TikTok's creator fund could get better, it would be S tier, easy. But it's still really bad now, and Hank Green talks about that. Still a lot. So if you want to follow that, follow Hank Green. Yeah. Let's see. I have a hot take on Snapchat here.
Okay.
I think Snapchat could be the closest thing the US has to a universal messaging system like iMessage.
Universal messaging system. Well, it's multi-platform. It's on iOS and Android. It has stories, it has ephemeral messages, it has chat,
it has picture messaging, it has video calling. The thing right now is the chat gets deleted after 24 hours.
You can save them if you want.
You can save them, but you'd have to save everyone. I think if it could default to saved chats. So you and we grew up with Snapchat as the like, oh, look, I saw a squirrel eating a slice of pizza on the ground over there. I'm going to take a picture that I don't care about and just send it because it's funny to a couple people.
Yeah.
But the generation under us is like, they're not giving out phone numbers. They're giving out Snapchat accounts. And that's how people are. I feel such like,
that is really
like old, like a boomer here. But like, that is what's happening. And I stopped using Snapchat a lot because I thought it got annoying because they were just like, too many groups I was a part of that was just like constant message, like
it's like
pictures.
all I have now. It's just groups.
I stopped doing it. I left all the groups. I turned my notifications off, and now recently I turned my notifications back on because I'm missing the just like, this is a funny thing that's happening in my life right now, and I want to send that to 4 other people I think that would think that's funny. But I won't send 4 picture messages to do that.
And I won't put it on my story because only the people I'm sending it to will understand what I'm saying. Yeah.
Exactly. So like but yeah, it has video calling. You can send pictures that don't get absolutely destroyed, pictures and videos that don't get destroyed cross-platform. So many people on iPhone and Android are using it. I think as we get older and the younger people start using it more, it's going to get more and more popular. And I think it might be the closest thing we have to.
Sounds like your tier is pretty high then. If you put it in a tier as a user, how high would you put Snapchat then?
For me, this is something that could happen. Snapchat
it's a possibility.
Is fine.
It's a hot take.
Snapchat's it's B tier.
B tier.
Yeah.
As a creator, I mean, there's Snapchat shows, and you can have a public Snapchat, but like at best, like people aren't just finding or discovering it. I think Snapchat as a creator, as far as like getting your stuff out there or monetizing, has got to be D tier at best.
Yeah, I would like to speak to someone younger than us and see how often they use it. I hate the Discover page on Snapchat.
It's terrible. It's the worst stuff I ever. Yeah.
I'm almost seeing it as like an app, like not a social media platform, as a messaging app at this point.
Interesting. There's also Twitter. Twitter has its own little vibe going on. It's not being bought by Elon anymore, I guess, is our official.
Yeah, it's not being bought by Elon. That's why we never talked about it in the first place. It's like that was a pretty common outcome I think a lot of people saw, so we never talked about it. But what do you rate it as? I think we like it more than a lot of other people do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Twitter is one of those things where if you're on Twitter, it seems like such a big deal. But if you're not on Twitter, it's very easy to get most of the same stuff elsewhere because it's like news headlines and then occasional like posts that go viral, but that just get news articles written about them anyway. And then like the occasional like surprising post from someone who isn't very accessible usually. Like some celebrity will tweet something and you're just like, oh, that's like an NBA player will tweet about a game they're watching. You're like, that's cool that's your thoughts in real time. But they're also doing all these weird things with like NFT profile pictures.
Well, they're making Twitter Blue more expensive while, as far as I know, not adding anything to it, which has almost nothing to start with.
Yeah, and I guess if you're a user, you can just ignore that and still keep using Twitter the same way you always did. I like that the app you can use, it's not chronological by default, but you can very easily get a chronological view either by using a third-party app or by switching it in the main app. So, okay, as a user, I think Twitter for me is actually, I was going to say A tier.
Mine's really high.
I think I would
personally
say A tier. But as a creator though, it's really interesting. I do most of my social engagement with my audience right now for me personally on Twitter.
Yeah.
I see a lot of responses to videos. I see a lot of video ideas. I see a lot of commentary on other videos and people sending me stuff they think I would like. I get tagged in things. I respond to things. Waveform has a Twitter. We tweet from that. We share things we make. Other people share. I think Twitter as a creator, and this is also kind of unusual, but I post videos on Twitter too sometimes, just like short videos and quick stuff. I think for me, it's also A tier. Twitter is also A tier.
I can agree with that. I think as somebody who follows a creator, it's S tier. Like it is the best chance you're going to have at actually having some sort of interaction with somebody larger that you follow.
Yeah.
I do think the niches are very specific to Twitter. Like very few, like tech loves Twitter. NFTs love Twitter. But I know like some cooking channels that are huge on Instagram. And then I go to their Twitter and I'm like, is this like a personal account you've never touched? Or I know people who have 500,000 people on Instagram and they'll have like 3,000 followers on Twitter. It's just like a lot. There are a lot of people who don't use Twitter at all.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It is probably out of like all the stuff, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, it's probably your best chance of interacting with some random connection.
Yeah.
Just of someone.
Like you said, we read a lot of it because it's easy to just scroll through a lot of different suggestions and comments and recommendations and stuff.
Yeah. Do you pay for Twitter Blue?
No.
I do.
Know. Would you? I would have thought about it previously if you took ads off completely.
Yeah, I think I'm going to unsubscribe.
Yeah, I don't see a point for it.
I've had it for a couple months.
Do you use anything with it? Do you even know you have it?
I know I have it because every time I send a tweet, it doesn't send it for 30 seconds while it does a little countdown timer.
Has that ever made you
undo
mad?
This? Yes, because it's buggy. I'll tweet something and I'll hit the tweet button and then it like shifts down and it turns gray and it starts the countdown timer. And then I'm like, actually, I do want to undo that. And then it disappears and I have to like go find it again in the next 30 seconds. And then I see a notification pop up says your tweet's been sent. I'm like, I wanted to actually undo it that time. Yeah, I don't think Twitter Blue is very good. And I will be retracting my subscription. Thank you very much.
Later.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip. Now that you've gotten to the end, make sure to set a reminder in your clock app to subscribe to the Waveform Clips channel. So just go ahead and open that up, set an alarm, whatever time you want really, whenever you think you'll be around your phone, and then just tell it to subscribe. Tell yourself to subscribe.
To subscribe. And anything else? Comment?
If you want to set a separate alarm for 1 minute later, set a separate alarm for 6:01. Let's say you did 6 o'clock, and make that the alarm to leave a comment so that you remember to also leave a comment. Then you're set.
Yeah.
2 alarms, baby.
2 alarms. That's how I live my entire life,
tasks
pretty
out.
much. Yeah.